Welcome, everybody, to another episode of G2 Kappa, where we get to know a person already. Today, I have another one of my very, very good friends, Shawn. Shawn, thank you for coming in and doing this with us.
Hey man, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me on G2 Kappa. Finally.
I'm super stoked. I'm very excited because you are probably one of the most entertaining and creative people that I know. I can't say enough nice things about you. Hopefully, that comes across in this interview. But I have a lot that I want to talk to you about that's a little different than I've gone in other paths. So, it's a little bit to get us off. So, of course, we met through the wrestling community on TikTok, but you are
Yeah.
so much more than a wrestling content creator. What is your content creation journey look like? Not just on TikTok, but do you make stuff on YouTube? Where'd you come at
Yeah,
all
so
this?
I started just I love to entertain. It's my thing to do. Actually, I should explain. If you see something on my hand tonight, I'm entertaining tonight because I'm doing a Halloween thing. So these aren't real for those who may know me. I had to explain that, but I do. I love to entertain. It's my thing. I love to make people laugh and enjoy life. So I started on TikTok when it first came out. I did Vine, and then TikTok came along. I had a YouTube channel that I didn't really do much with. A couple of videos on there, Shawnee PTV from like way back that did some skits and stuff. But I started TikTok, and then it eventually moved into our wrestling promo thing, which I really had a lot of fun, and my creative juices really opened up, which helped me lead to some new stuff after I decided to kind of step back from the promo stuff. I moved into some snack reviews is my new big thing, and I started a whole new YouTube channel doing that. So that's my new kind of new focus.
Well, so doing the snack stuff has been really interesting to see because we already were kind of seeing you do all these different characters and do this kind of riffing or whatever, but seeing you be able to change it into what we call regular content or like more mainstream content has been cool. Did you find any kind of did you find it difficult to kind of transition from doing the more like creative or like almost character like content to like actual like content creatory content?
No, I'm a big goofy idiot. So the characters that I did at NGT, outside of like me and angry guys, was just me being me. Like the Shoddy P character that everyone got to know. Of course, it was a little extra goofy than what I am, but it's just me being me. I like to throw in jokes. I do stand up comedy and MC gigs on the side, so it was just a natural fit for me. And I did broadcast journalism in college, so I know I'm comfortable in front of a camera. I know what to say and kind of write things up. It was just honestly, it's just me eating snacks and joking about it.
Okay, so you've just unlocked so much in those few statements. I had a whole area I was planning to go, and maybe we'll get to some of this. But you're one of those people I feel like I would have to do a 10-part saga to get to all the things I would love to talk about.
And you-
But so, first things first, that hat looks very uncomfortable. And this is G2 Kappa. So I'm
it is.
wondering, do
It
you
is
have a
G
2 Kappa?
two Kappa. I do have a number two Kappa. So let me just throw my two Kappa on here. Yeah, what is this? Shawnee P's snack scrutiny. That's a YouTube channel right there, if you ask me.
So I just wanted to make sure to make mention. Sean, of course, a member of UCAM, but he is making his own content for the snack reviews, Shawnee P Snack Scrutiny. Make sure you're following that. We will put the information down in the doobly doo, as they used to say back in the day on YouTube. But I wanted to get that plug in for you
Thanks, appreciate it. I
because
shot one today, uploaded today. So
we are jumping back to a few of these comments though. So I heard stand up comedy. Okay. So when did you start doing that? How do you do that actively? Is it something you still try to pursue?
absolutely. I started to kind of I don't know if you want to start my MC gigs that maybe and kind of
It blends.
evolved into that. Yeah, it blends. So I started doing MC gigs way back at my brother's wedding. Actually, in 2007 was my first gig. My brother, there are some things I like to follow in his footsteps. My older brother, that's how it happens. And he did a lot of MC gigs. He then moved into some stand up comedy, and a lot of people told me, including him, that I should dabble in it too. So I haven't done like a whole lot of shows, like maybe once a year, once every couple of years, and it's all local. But my name and my brother's name is out there, so people do tend to around Christmas time especially can tend to contact us. The last thing I did was a roast for a birthday, and there was like 15 people, and they're like, "You should try some of your stand up too." And I'm like, "I guess." So I did like maybe a half hour like kind of roast stand up little bit that worked. I as much as I do it, I get nervous on stage. It's I write my own material and I don't know how it goes. Like I know a lot of people go with the stories aspect, and I do throw some stories in, but I do a lot of one liners. Some of them may not be everyone's cup of tea, if you will. So I do kind of gauge the audience and see what I should use and shouldn't use. But it's been fun.
So I will say, and I'm completely going to throw you under the bus here and throw you just to the wolves. Do you got a one liner? Can you throw me a one liner that you might use?
A one liner that I may use that won't get this thing canceled. Hey,
Shut down. Yeah.
oh boy. Let me see here. Oh man, off the top of my head, I gotta kind of look at my notes. Because all the ones I'm thinking of are the ones that won't, won't get approved on here, and that's all I can think of right now. Well, let me think on it and
You're
see what I
fine.
can
You're
do.
fine. I
Yeah,
just when you say that's what you're throwing out there, that's what I'm going for. So you did MCs like you said you did your brother's wedding. Like what else? I know you do the hockey thing. You talked about your entertaining tonight. How did that come about? What do you do with them? What is shout out the hockey team? Like what's going on?
absolutely. So it's the North Peace Navigators. It's I don't know what level I would put it at to people who are watching that really don't know hockey. It's a junior hockey league. So if you're Canadian, you're going to know exactly what that is. If you're not, it's
But
almost
they're
like
adults?
they're adults. They're like in their
Okay.
20s. All right.
Okay.
So it's like between 20 and there's a senior league. So once you hit like I think 20 like 22 or 25 maybe. So they're like 18 to 20 these guys are.
Okay.
And then they're at a level that's just below like unfortunately it looks like they probably won't make an NHL type of level, but it's just below that NHL start to a career. So it's guys that kind of just missed out, but they're still like highly talented players. And there's a whole league in northern Alberta where I live right now. I'm not from here, but I live here. And so they reached out to me. Again, because of the things I do in the community, I've done theater as well and things like that, and just connections. And they wanted someone fun and exciting and energetic. So I had me and my friend Megan. I call her Maggie C, and I'm Shawnee P. That's who we are at the game. We're the event coordinator, so we just go around and trying to hype people up and hand out prizes. And it was just boring games. It was just people sitting in the stands during the intermissions and not doing anything. So we kind of hype it up a little and have some fun.
That's cool. So how long you been doing that?
Tonight's my second game.
Oh,
It's brand
nice.
new. Yeah, it's brand new. We just started. And it's just been a ton. The first game was fan appreciation night. So we gave out hats and shirts. Tonight we're doing like a Halloween thing. So where you got fans to come out dressed up in costumes. We're going to hand out candies. We're not going to go big every game, but
Yeah.
it's just a fun thing to have more entertainment instead of just sitting in a cold stadium for a couple hours.
Well, and I absolutely can see you being like the most entertaining dude in public, like
Yeah,
making these
it's
events
yeah.
much more fun.
And
Um,
even that, like last week, I was a bit nervous heading down. But once I get my like first laugh or first interaction, that just hits me, and now I'm good to go, and it's just natural from there, and I'm super comfortable in
it
that
kind of
atmosphere.
frees you, kind of
Yeah,
opens you up a little bit.
absolutely.
So that's super interesting. So you also mentioned you did theater. So what now we got to get into this, brother, because
I
what
know.
were you
I
doing?
know.
What do you got going?
Local theater, I've done this year. I took a step back. I've done four, I think, adult plays, not adult plays. You know what I'm
I
saying?
was like,
Like, oh, hey,
I was like, pause.
yeah.
Let's get into that.
No, see, I'm fully clothed as
Okay.
far as I know, except for changing backstage. And actually, it's interesting. The stage that the theater, the stage, the name, the gentleman that the stage is named after, unfortunately, just passed away. Wednesday. Was my last performance I did because they had some of us thespians and people who worked under his direction show up to his celebration of life,
Hmm.
and we performed some show tunes and stuff. So that was really cool. But I started out doing Young Frankenstein, and I was typecasted as Frankenstein's monster because I don't know if people who know me, but I'm a giant individual,
Are you
and
six
so
five?
6'3", six
Six
three.
three.
I wish 6'5", 6'5" with the shoes and the play though. I was six
Okay.
five, and of course I was all greened up and stuff. So that was fun. And then I did. The next year we did a show called "The Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum," where I was again typecasted as a pipsqueak virgin in in Greece, the Greco-Roman Greece days. The year after that, we did a 1920s Prohibition period, like comedy musicals. That one was called The Drowsy Chaperone. So that was The Best Man George. Then I took a couple breaks, and then last year I played a priest in a murder mystery play. I can't remember the name of that one, but
Did you
yeah.
do it?
Did I do the priest?
No, like because it was a murder mystery.
Oh,
Did
the
you do
murder
it?
mystery. Stupid one. Come on, Sean. I didn't say I was smart. I was an actor. Here's how good my acting is. Hugs. They told me that everyone thought it was me, but it
Hmm.
wasn't me. It
Okay.
wasn't me. But that's how good I am at acting.
All right. So one thing I do want to get into, we kind of see it in the background. This is something that maybe not everybody knows about you, but I know that you're very into this. You're a sneakerhead, as they
Yeah.
say. So where did your journey with that begin? Like I'm a dude that owns a pair of like New Balance, and that's about like I own
Hey,
one pair
they're
of
not
shoes at a
bad.
time.
They're not bad. Growing up, we didn't have a lot of money, and when I hit my growth spurt and started getting big, and I'm a plus size guy, so when it comes to clothes, I could never really look how I want it for the most part until I discovered a new company that's amazing. But I won't give them a shout out here. But I shoes and hats were always something that I could wear because they were you didn't have to worry too much about inches on those kind of things. Of course, until I moved to size 14 in shoes, but we'll get to that. So I used to like collect hats and shoes as much as I could, and I always kind of went on the conservative side again because we grew up. We didn't have a ton of money. My mom and dad worked their hardest to get us the best we could. Grade 7, I remember Nike was everyone had to have a pair of Nike. So mom and dad helped me with scraped and saved for that, and I appreciate them for that. So that was my first pair of Nike shoes. Then when I got my own money, I started to buy some more shoes, and I spent a couple hundred here or there, and still never had like the exact pairs I wanted. I used to wear a lot of skate shoes, Osiris
Mm,
and Circa. I did like those, and they were always wider, and I do have a wider foot. But then when I started my job as, I end up getting talking about this too, as an emergency communications officer, 911 dispatcher, for those who don't know, um, I started making good money, and they had given me this opportunity as a flex spending for health spending. And basketball shoes, wellness. They want you to take care of your wellness. So if you bought exercise equipment, they would pay for it through work. So basketball shoes are exercise equipment. So I took advantage
heck
and
yeah.
started paying for my when I got into the more high end, expensive stuff like Jordans and Yeezys. Um, and then yeah, so now I kind of got unfortunately an addiction, and being size 14 in shoes um, gets expensive because they're rare sizes to get. So that's kind of how it all started. I've always liked shoes. I always had something fun and wacky. I don't know if you remember the brand Fat Farm.
Yeah.
I had Fat Farm shoes, so they look like the Adidas All Star
Hmm.
with the toe cap, but they were Fat Farm. So I had Vans, I had them all.
Well, so I want to go back. There's a couple things you touched on as we're going through this. So one of which, Osiris was that brand. I had Osiris shoes. I had DC's and Osiris is what I used to rock. Osiris also notoriously had a backpack that had speakers in it, and I thought that was the
Oh
coolest
yeah,
thing
I
ever.
forgot that. Yeah,
I thought it was the coolest thing ever. That's what made me an Osiris fan. But also as we're going through these, talking about some of these things, of course, we will get back to you getting into the, being a dispatcher. Did you know if your doctor writes you a letter, you can also use it? We call it HSA, FSA, whatever you want, the Flex account to get an Apple Watch that you can purchase an Apple Watch because
yeah.
it's a fitness device.
I've also done that in the past too. yeah,
So I'm like, I
yeah,
also,
yeah. But my Apple Watch
was
broke like
recommended that.
immediately. Yeah.
So we'll get back into the 911 dispatcher in a sec. I want to know, what is your favorite pair of shoes that you've ever had?
I currently have them now. My favorite pair of shoes are my favorite Jordans. So Jordans are the top, and as much as I think LeBron James is the goat, people are going to
LeBron
fight me for that.
James.
The Jordan shoes, there's no one better. So the Jordan threes, which came in this box and are right here, I can bring them out.
Oh, Seb, you got him in like a protective case.
Oh, I got cases down here, baby. And
Sheesh.
so these now the exact Jordan threes I want are out of my price range at this point in time. So I had to grab these bad boys. They're dirty because I wear my shoes. If sneakerheads are watching this, there's creases and dirt on these, but I show off what I purchased. So the best ones I could get were the Jordan threes at the time, Fire Red Unites from, and it was came out the 2019 All Star Game in Chicago. So these are my favorite shoe right now.
So is that seen as kind of like a sin in the community to like get them crease or like wear them up to where they look like a normal shoe or
There are opinions. There are
okay.
opinions on it. Yeah, I like for resale. I would never get any money back for those. And some people do get them to collect. Like the OG Eminem Jordan threes are like $32,000. Like, I've seen. So if someone wants to fact check me on that, if I'm buying a pair of shoes like that, which I never will, yeah, exactly, unless I'm like a billionaire. Of course, I'm not going to wear those unless it's like my wedding. So I'm not ever going to wear them. But yeah, so they're like 32 grand, something like that. But when I buy regular pair like that, of course, those shoes were over $300. But I because I don't wear them every day because I have like 15 pairs, they don't get wrecked as much.
So what and I was going to get into this a little later, but I'll ask you this now instead of in our lightning round. But what is the holy grail shoe? What is the holy grail sneaker?
The Holy Grail shoe. Oh boy. For me, or what I
For
think in
you.
general.
For you.
For me, my Holy Grail is,
Like you're like if money was no option,
yeah,
like
yeah.
you could go get it.
As much as the Jordan 3 is my favorite shoe, the shoe that I want to wear and I want to have in a size 14 are the Jordan 11 Space Jams. They're mostly all black with like a purple sole. They're very sexy. But I think in my price range, the cheapest, I don't know, at last I checked, I think it was in like $600 to $800 or something like that. So if anyone watching wants to donate to the Shawnee P shoe collection, Jordan
What
11, size 14.
what do you consider like your cutoff point? Like $800 too much? Because some people will go crazy with that. They probably make less than you do.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because like some people just splurge on that one thing. What's your like cap?
And you can the websites that I buy from, you can pay it off, but I don't want to pay off a shoe. My cap right now would be, I would say 200 because I use my work money for other things at this point. Before when
Like
I used
life.
exactly before when I used my wellness spending, the most I spent were on these Yeezys here. And it was almost $500. They were 480. I wore these a ton. I find these extremely comfortable to wear. I feel they look good on all kinds of feet. Whether you got a thick foot, they kind of wrap around and they look really good. Or if you got a small foot, they kind of look big and like clunky, but good. Unfortunately, I wore them so much that they're now torn. So I still wear them once in a while if I want to feel comfortable, if I want to look good, and I'll eventually try and figure out how to maybe sew that up a little. But yeah, these were my most expensive at almost 500. But Yeezys now have dropped because you know Kanye. Yeah, so like these ones I bought recently, and they're really dirty now. For like 150, I think. So yeah.
So my question is, are you always buying for form or you do functionality? Like, is it just because they're comfortable, or do you only care about the look, about the
Both. So, you know what? I care about the look, and then they end up being comfortable. The Jordans, I was worried because of the shape of my foot, but they're actually Jordan ones, Jordan threes, are very kind of wide and comfortable to wear. I have a low pair of Jordan 11s because threes are my favorite. Then it's 11s. They're a little tighter, but they do still comfortable when I wear them. So it depends. I just like to get for the style, and if I gotta stick my foot in there and be uncomfortable for a bit, I will. Point in case these ones, because the other Yeezys I have are 14 and a half. These are only 14, so they do kind of, my foot kind of gets sore if I wear them for a while, and I gotta really work hard to put them on. But yeah, I want to look good, baby. So I guess not form, or form it is, yeah.
So, okay, so here's my first off a statement and then a question. Did you know there is a one of one pair of heel hugs Nike like 97, whatever, something 97s? I made them, okay? I got the custom made whatever, and then they didn't fit right. Now they've lost a gang of weight. They might fit. I don't
Yeah,
know because
try
I've
them
lost like
again.
160 pounds or something. They might
Congrats,
fit
by the
now.
way. Yeah, that's,
Thank you.
yeah. I've been
But
there and I
so
know how it feels.
well, it's like so they may fit. I have no clue,
Yeah.
but I had it's the most I'd ever spent on a shoe until what I have now. The New Balance I have now costs the same. It's like 160, 170, but they're nice though. They're good.
Yeah.
Well, like
Yeah.
I'm not a shoe guy, so like
Yeah, I know.
170, I was like, whoa, oh, this is a lot. But they were great for work because I walk a lot for work.
Yeah.
But so there's a one of one heel hugs pair of shoes. Nike is Nike 97 a thing? It was a
Yeah, I have
97.
a
Okay,
pair of 97s. They're the ones that had like the almost like rainbow shaped look to them
yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah.
front. Yeah, yeah. They're
Okay.
my favorite Air Max.
Okay. Air
Yeah.
Max 97. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I have a pair
Sorry,
too.
I'm not a sneaker guy, my bad.
Yeah.
But
Hey, you got your own shoe, bro. Like
hey,
you're above
I
me.
I wanted to try to be cool and get a custom one. But so maybe one day. So my question is for you then, and that's perfect. You said you don't have your own shoe. What is the Shawnee P shoe?
A
If you have your
Shawnee.
custom, and I don't want just one you'll just wear, but I'm talking the mass appeal. Like if you have your like,
Yeah.
this is gonna rep you for everyone.
Okay, we're going Jordan 3 for sure. We're going red and black because that's my favorite color combination. Whether it be mostly black, let's see, mostly black here with maybe some red, maybe red cement would be nice because they call this the crack cement.
Okay.
Back here, we'd have the Nike, but one of the big thing of my personality is my mustache. If you can see it, we got to put a Shawnee P stash back here too. So
I
maybe
was
instead
gonna
of
say almost for the laces in the front, put
oh,
it
that would be
like up
dope
on
too.
the like on the tongue or whatever on the
Yeah,
front of it, like have the like
yeah,
have a little mustache that like pops
yeah.
out.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea too, and even make it 3D. So yeah, that would be. I never actually thought about that until now. So thanks for that idea. I'm gonna write Nike and see what they say. Mister was it Mister John Nike? Is that his name?
When you get back to me, I hope that you have some feedback on that.
Yeah,
Okay, I want
I'll
to
let
know
you know.
what they say. Okay, so we've gotten so far away from where I planned on going with this, so we're gonna come back slightly, and we'll get to the 911 operator thing just because that's super interesting. I feel very different than what I'm gonna talk to anybody else. Then we're gonna go into the lightning round a little bit because
Okay.
we're getting about that time. So 911 operator, what did you call it? What is the actual terminology for it?
Emergency Communications Officer or ECO. It's different in every province and state, but in Alberta, it's Emergency Communications Officer.
So how long have you been doing that? How did you get into that? Like
Right.
what
Yeah. So when I
take me on
moved
the
here,
journey.
yeah, exactly. When I moved here to, I live in Peace River, Alberta. When I moved here, I followed my college program and I did broadcast journalism. So I was on the local radio station, making no money, and well, some not enough. And then this opportunity came up. It was a friend of mine who was deployment. He was one of the managers at the area, and he was looking for some staff. We're always looking for staff. It's a big turnover job, as you would imagine, and the pay nearly tripled what I made. So I wanted to kind of stick around. My nephew was on the way, so he's 14 in December. So I've been there for about 14 years now, and that's kind of how it started. I applied for a casual position, taking a risk because I didn't know how much hours I would get. But because of the turnover rate, I was casual for a week before I ended up basically getting full time. And I've been there up and down, had some ups, some downs. I've been in some leadership roles, and now I've stepped back from that for a little bit over the 14 years. And it's definitely an interesting job. You definitely have to have the right personality for it. And I feel I do. I'm a laid back individual, and I don't let things get to me like I do. I have my faith and my family and my friends to kind of lean upon when it comes to that stuff. So yeah, 14 years taking calls, and we also dispatch. So we'll either take calls from people from the entire province of Alberta whenever there is an emergency, or we will send our crews out and speak with them over the radio, stuff like that.
Well, and so of course we're not going to get too deep into any specifics or anything like that because for obvious legal reasons. But
Yeah.
I am curious how, like you said, you're laid back, but like how do you handle? Like, there's got to be situations where you've had like a very intense situation come through. How do you handle that? Like, I can't imagine.
Yeah, I honestly think like I said, my personality really helps. I I know that I've done the best I could to try and help that situation because it's very well structured system. We have a script that we read that we don't stray from. That's written by doctors and paramedics. The addressing, if the only thing I would get upset is if I messed up on an addressing or I chose a wrong, we call them protocols to go to, but they're pretty straightforward. Sometimes I have chest pain, I'm going to our chest pain protocol. Um, and so I try my best. We do CPR over the phone all the time, things like that. The worst call I ever took, which I won't, it's too much to talk about on here, of
Obviously, yeah.
course. Yeah. Excuse me, sorry. I'm not breaking up, choking up
I
here.
was gonna say, I was
Yeah.
like, are you
That was
okay?
that was a little help from these guys.
Yeah.
I kind of sat back. I went, and then sat back up. And my next call came maybe a minute or two later, which was a routine like old person fall. Some people, like some of my staff, coworkers, sorry, like to, they need to take time off, like months, weeks, the rest of the shift. It depends, which is totally fine. Like you need that for your mental health. But I do like my coping. Like I talk to God every day, so he really gives me the peace that I need for a job like that. And again, my family, we're really pretty close, tight knit family. So if I need to talk with them. My coworkers that are next to me or my managers will come. They'll come check. We have good management, and I have really good coworkers and colleagues there. So that's kind of how I cope with a job like that. And I take it as like, so we work 4 days on and 4 days off. I'm not to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the job. I did take it for the money. So when things get tough, I look at it as I got to go make money for 4 days, and then I'm looking forward to my 4 days off to do the plethora of things that I'm involved with.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much how I handle it. Enjoy, look forward to the days off.
Well, I was gonna say because you answered one of my questions already. So I previously used to work as like frontline support service desk for a hospital,
Mhm.
and I've had scenarios where like patient's coding, I'm in the room, computer's not working, I'm trying to get a fixed, and like that really messed with me. So I'm like I didn't have to take off or whatever, but like I after that scenario when I was removed, like I can just imagine how I handled it, and then having to deal with the tense situations you're dealing with in that line of work, I could just see some parallels. So
Mhm.
I'm glad you did touch on that. Sometimes people have to take some time off. Some people do have to worry about
Absolutely.
their mental health.
Yeah, we pretty
Um,
much like, yeah, you're in the same. So that intensity and that feeling you had is the same thing when I'm trying to get someone that's trying a person that's high on drugs that's trying to help a person that overdosed on that same drug.
yeah.
Um, trying to get that situation going. So yeah, I know we kind of how I feel because you did that. So yeah.
Okay. So let's change gears.
All
Let's
right.
let's get back into the wacky stuff.
Oh, no.
So we didn't talk very much about wrestling, but obviously that's how we met. So this is what traditionally used to be my lightning round, which is basically I just want to ask you some other questions about some stuff. I just think you'd have interesting answers or I want to hear about.
All right.
I don't have a name for this new round, but it's just called whatever I want to ask.
All right.
So I am interested in, and we'll say 90s iconic wrestling. Okay. So we're talking attitude era, like late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Pick one iconic, like attitude era wrestler. And there's one cheap option, but we'll see if you pick it to be put into the NHL, to be put in hockey. Who do you think would do well in
Oh,
hockey?
the goon is not attitude, so I'm not going to go with him.
Good
Attitude
answer
era,
though.
yeah. Attitude era NHL. Ooh. Am I going to go with a Canadian wrestler who's going to know what to do, or am I going to take the wrestler's attributes and put him in there? I love a gritty NHL player who can score. So, am I going to take someone like Stone Cold who's just going to stomp a mud hole in everyone? No, because he's going to be gritty, but
The
will he
fights will be the
score?
best though.
The fights will be the best, but will he be finesse enough to score? I don't know. You want to go big, but you don't want to go too big because they're going to be slow. Oh man, I mean, I guess I got to go with The Rock.
Okay.
The nickname won't work because you can't have two great ones, so you can't go up against Wayne Gretzky. But The Rock had the finesse in the ring. He was gritty. He had the trash talk that he needed. I don't think he's the greatest of all time, but I do. He is up there, and he was smooth. Yeah, yeah. Actually, now I think about
What
it, The Rock,
what do they call the thing that cleans the ice?
Zamboni.
He's yeah. So instead he's the Zamboni Jabroni, like he's got the
Oh,
little like.
that's perfect. See, I
There you
knew I picked
go.
the right guy.
There you go.
Zamboni Jabroni.
Well, so what I thought was gonna be the cheap answer because this is the easiest one. Do you know who I was gonna say?
Edge or Chris
Chris
Jericho?
Jericho.
Yeah.
His dad
Oh
was
yes, right.
Ted
Played for the
Irvine or whatever. Like was
Flyers,
a
yeah, or something.
yeah
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Because I was like that. Obviously,
yeah.
he's got it in the DNA.
And I almost
So
leaned because I was going Canadian, so I almost leaned that way.
so now I do want to flip it. Take an iconic hockey player and put them in Attitude Era Wrestling.
I'm gonna go with iconic hockey player. Oh, Sean Avery. I don't know
Okay.
if you know who Sean Avery is.
Paint me
He
a picture. Why are they the best to be put
here's
into?
here's Sean Avery because no, he would be a dynamite on the mic. He was a jerk on the ice. He literally stood in front of Martin Brodeur and went like this in front of his face while they were trying to shoot the puck. And no, like hockey is a gentleman's sport. No one does that stuff. So right away, everyone hated the guy. So he would be a top heel. He would be Roddy Piper type of heel. One time he had an interview. He was in the so he used to date Alicia Cuthbert, and she ended up dating another hockey player, Dion Phaneuf. And all the interviews were done for the day. And then Sean Avery comes into the dressing room. He's like, "Can you guys turn your cameras on?" So like when you watch it, especially as someone who studied broadcast journalism, you can tell they're just setting up. And he goes, "I don't know what the big deal is with everybody in the NHL with trying to go after my sloppy seconds, but whatever." And then he walked away. And that night he was playing Dion Phaneuf. I think he was with the Calgary Flames at the time, and Sean Avery was a Ranger.
Oh,
He threw his skates into the Brooklyn Bridge, off the Brooklyn Bridge into the river. What's that river there? Anyway, yeah, he threw it into the river. So hey, they threw the Intercontinental Championship. Same idea.
oh
So,
yeah.
Sean
That
Avery,
works.
100% is the guy you want. Yeah,
Okay, I love that. As soon as you started getting into the story, I was bought in already. I'm like,
yeah,
all right, I'm watching this guy.
yeah.
Okay,
Good. Yeah,
so
YouTube him.
changing gears into the snack realm because I
Yeah,
know you do collaborate with some other of the Canadian snack
I do.
reviewers,
I
but
do.
just overall, it doesn't have to be that lane. If you could collaborate with any snack reviewer, who would it be?
Oh, good question. I'm not like I like him as a person, but I think I could collab with him. Badlands Chugs.
Okay.
Yeah, he chugs a lot, and I chug a lot. So I think us having a chug off would be a cool idea. But I just I get bored with his reviews a bit, so I do kind of skip forward sometimes. But he seems like a genuinely good, nice person to be with. There's a couple, of course, Canadian ones that I'm connected with, and one is guys from my home province of Newfoundland, Labrador. Shout out. Oh, you can't see it, but anyway, they're Nerdy Newfie. His name is, and he would be good. There's a Cat and sorry, Kevin and Kat. They're Canadian reviewers. They support me. I want to support them. That's how it works. And a guy named Talentless Cooking is another big one of my supporters. So any of those guys, I would love to kind of collab with, or like collab with someone who create. Like I just did a Shaq review. Shaq's my all-time favorite athlete. If I could collab and do his candies or whatever he comes up with next with Shaq, that's a dream come true right there.
So there was a dude I used to watch because of you, and I don't remember what his name is. He wore a toque, and his food stuff made me feel awkward because he ate it at like a pace and just like a silence, and he would
Oh,
just like keep biting.
yeah.
Like it wasn't like he was eating it.
Was it for one? First of all, well done with Took. I know you. I know you got your
For
roots.
sh-
So good job. Yeah. I don't know who that you saw through mine. I'm maybe Kevin and Kat.
I'm
He
trying to
does.
no. This was like a dude. He was like a older guy, not like old, but like he's. I don't know. I would have to go find him, but he was just
Yeah.
this dude. Like he looked like a homeless guy, if I had to
Oh,
guess.
yeah.
And he would just sit there and like eat a sandwich, and he would just like eat the entire thing. But like whatever, he was Canadian. He'd be like, oh, Matt, whatever, gonna try this. And then he would just like literally no time to digest
Oh,
or
I know who you're
swallow
talking
this
about
thing at
on
all.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh my, he does burger reviews and he's got a
Yeah.
big beard. He's from
Yep.
Edmonton. Yeah.
But his
Um,
whole thing was the toque. He would talk
yeah.
about the whatever, and
Smoking patties.
there you go. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
his name.
Yeah. I got to fast forward through his eating.
Bro, he almost like it made me uncomfortable
Yeah.
watching him eat.
Yeah.
Like it
Me
was
too.
awkward.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, that's just an
Yeah.
aside. But that's somebody I totally found because of you. Um, can you review yourself as a snack?
Yeah. I'm a snack. Ladies, if you're watching, Shawnee P is a 10 out of 10 snack right there. Um, but what kind of snack am I?
What kind of snack? Like you can't just say 10 out of 10. Are you salty? Are you sweet? Are
Oh,
you
I
crunchy?
I'm far from salty. I do have my moments, but I'm the sweetest of sweets you can get. Whether it's borderline diabetic or whether it's just me as an individual, I'm a sweet, loving, fluffy, marshmallowy guy. So that's just who I am. I love life. I love family. I love friends. I've had my moments. I've had my salty moments, and but you know what? I've taken those and I've learned from them, and I've reconciled with those who tasted that saltiness, and now they got the sweet. So yeah, I would put myself probably the sweetest of sweets.
Bro, I can't so I love you, bro. You crack me up. That is the best compliment I can give somebody is that they absolutely crack me up. I die. Like I
Appreciate you.
consider myself like a student of the game. Like comedians don't laugh at all, like type of thing. So
Yeah.
I always like try to keep composure, and you can always break me.
Well,
So
I always
that's
appreciate your
biggest
feedback too.
compliment.
I find when I used to do my NGT stuff, I did it because I wanted to see you laugh on stream. So I appreciate that. Yeah.
So flipping. So I want another review, okay, of yourself, but I want to see the difference. So we had a snack review. What about a sneaker review? The Shawnee P. You as a sneaker.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with. I'm a big clunky guy, so you want big clunky shoes. I'm not ugly. I'm not gonna call myself ugly, so I'm gonna go with the up tempo. I don't know if you remember those. I don't know if I can
Mm,
reach them from here, but they're the ones that had air on the side.
yeah.
They were Scottie Pippen's signature shoe. They're big, they're clunky, but they're bold and they're flashy, and that's what I like to be. I wear clothes that speak my personality. I like to stay stylish, so I don't go bright and colorful as much as I used to. But I'm a bold, out loud, spoke out loud, true extrovert. So I'm gonna call myself the up tempo.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now flipping gears. We're
flip
gonna
it
get
up.
super serious, okay? Because we're finishing up, we're closing out. So you've done a lot. We barely scratched the surface on things we could talk about, but even just what we talked about here, we talked about theater, stand up, we talked about entertainment, doing the hype stuff in hockey, we talked sports, we talked shoes, we talked snacks, we talked all kinds of things, community, family, all this. What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Oh, that I've ever been given. Oh man, that's off the top of my head. Um, Honestly, I'm gonna go basic as I can be, and it's gonna be from my parents. And I don't know if they've. I'm sure they've out and out said it, but they definitely showed it. And that's to. You know what? No, this is my dad would say. Um, Love the janitor and respect the janitor as much as you would respect the CEO.
Mm,
Um, or he would also say, you do the best that you can do. If God called you to be a ditch digger, you be the best ditch digger you can be. So, Pittman, actually, that's where our name comes from, digging pits. But so it's just to show love to absolutely everyone. No matter what their situation is, what you're in, or what you're struggling with, where you are in life, your social status. I'm going to show you the same respect I show everyone else, and I've seen that through my parents, my siblings, and it's funny, you can tell, and some of the specific people that other people wouldn't talk to, maybe, or wouldn't they? Those people are attracted to. I always notice to my family, and it's because we've always gave them the respect. Like, why disrespect them because they're not the same social status or whatever. Um, yeah, so just love everyone.
That's great advice. Like it's it doesn't need to be more than that.
Yeah,
I think it's honestly something that everybody should live by, and it seems so simple, but yet so many people don't do it.
yeah, absolutely. Simple.
So
Yeah, exactly.
I get that 100%. Okay, so the final question that I will ask, and we talked about this beforehand, is I'm looking for other people I can interview. I'm looking to get to know people. And for the most part, a lot of these early episodes are going to be me getting to talk to my friends and get to know y'all on a different level or a little more deeper. But I would like to see if you could recommend someone to me that would be interesting and interested in doing a G2 Kappa interview.
Absolutely. Like I said, to show my support to the people who show my support, show support to the people who show me support. Of course, I always have to shout out, and we everyone knows who we call Server Air. One of my biggest supporters, and we ended up connecting, and he became one of my closest friends throughout the entirety of our NGT. So I always got to throw his name out there. I'm sure I don't know if you have any plans to work with him, but
I was gonna
he's
say
got
I'll definitely be reaching out to him eventually because he's
yeah,
another one that'll be like my friends that are being
yeah,
interviewed.
absolutely,
But no,
yeah.
he'll be up here for sure. Shout out
Yeah.
server.
Yeah, shout out, buddy. Ooh. And then moving on to again, I mentioned them already, but the Canadian snack reviewers, we have our own Discord as well, where we've connected, and I've had a lot of support from those guys. So there is a Kevin and Kat. They're on YouTube. He does video games, snacks, travel. I think you would really like his stuff if you checked it out. And then if you guys got talking, he seems like a pretty exciting guy. The nerdy newfie guys, super fun too. Although some people might not catch the accent, but I can help translate if you have three of us on or
For
something
sure.
like that. Those who know what Newfoundland is and Newfoundland accent, you don't hear it from me. I do change it up because I went to broadcasting school. You might have heard some things, but I can turn it right on if you want me to. Hey, bye.
Oh man, that sounds very Letterkenny immediately as soon as you
Yeah.
start going there. Um, so I'm definitely interested. We'll have to connect. Maybe I do some reviews here and there. I review some foods
Yes.
and whatnot. So maybe
Oh,
I'll
well,
have to hit you up.
we're
We'll
collabing.
connect.
We're
That's what I was
collabing.
saying. We'll
Absolutely.
connect and see what's going on.
Yeah.
But Shawn, thank you so much for being on, brother. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. This has been
Yeah,
a
man.
blast for me. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, I definitely would love to have you on again in the future if you'd be interested.
100%.
I think it'd be cool. And then
Yeah,
I'm
man.
so excited to see not only what you continue to do with your snack content and what you're doing. So please, everybody, follow that. But what we do together with View Count and the stuff we got going with these other guys is something nobody else is doing. I'm very excited to see where we end up with it, brother. But thank
Yeah,
you
there's
again.
exciting stuff ahead. Yeah.
Hopefully, y'all enjoyed it. Let us know what you thought in the comments down below. Give me some recommendations. Who else you want to see get interviewed? Hit me up with some questions you want to get answered from Shawn in the future. And we'll be back with the next one.